Bitcoin is a deflationary currency. Dollars, Pakistan rupees, etc. are inflationary currencies. You get your salary, you have a certain inflation rate. If you put the money in the cupboard and you basically take it out 3 years later, it has lost value for whatever the 3-year inflation rate of the country was. In Turkey, if you would have done that over the last 10 years, you would have lost 99% of the money. Basically, you can throw it away because when you put it there, it was $1,000. You took it out, it's now $12, basically, right? It's gone, right? You can buy coffee and that's it, basically, right? So in Bitcoin terms, it's deflationary. So it's the opposite. You put it there, it's $1,000. You look at it 10 years later, it's 10,000. Exactly the opposite. Exactly what the fiat loses, it gains. So people always think Bitcoin goes up in value. It doesn't. Fiat goes down in value. It just stays. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, basically, right? That's how we think about it. But the most important is, if your currency is deflationary and it gains value, it changes behavior. Saifuddin Ammous, he's probably the most important author of this era. He wrote the Bitcoin Standard, the Fiat Standard, and the Principles of Economics. 3 most important books I recommend every person in finance and non-finance to read. He argues in the Bitcoin Standard that when your system is based on a deflationary currency, the incentives of people change. You become low time preference versus high time preference. What does high time preference mean? High time preference means dopamine hit right now. I want things fast, now, better, immediately, instantly to me. That's why I'm on my phone, I'm scrolling because I need the next one, right? That's why I get my salary, I go out and I spend it immediately because I know if I keep it, maybe it's the same in Turkey and Pakistan. People, when they get their salaries, they go buy a phone they know they can sell this phone for more money 6 months down the line than when actually, it's not the phone's value going up, it's the currency's value going down, basically, right? So it creates high time preference. I need the lust and the energy and the success. I need it immediately, now, basically, right? Which comes to Kareem driving, eating, the Instagramming, anything. Think of anything you want. Your children's not being happy with what they have and they want more, faster, better, etc. If you change the currency and your currency becomes deflationary, every dollar, every rupee you spend, you now say, okay, I can sell 0.01 Bitcoin and I can buy a new suit. But that 0.01 Bitcoin in 10 years from now will buy me a car. So do I really need a new suit? Okay, it has a hole, but don't you think I can just fix it? So then you go to the tailor and you say, look, can you fix this? Can you make this look like nice and new? Because I don't want to buy a new suit. Your behavior turns from high time preference to low time preference. You don't go to the restaurant and you spend and you don't eat 50% of it, because you know that whatever you spend in 10 years from now will buy the restaurant, basically, right? So what you do is you only spend as little, and you can try this. I've been on the Bitcoin Standard basically myself for 10 years. I'm exactly like that. Anything I want to do, I'm always on the low time preference side. That's why they say real Bitcoiners drive Toyotas instead of expensive cars, because they know, and from the Bitcoin perspective, it just goes down in value rapidly, right? So now think from a religious perspective. What does religion teach us? Does religion teach us to be high time preference or to be low time preference? What do? We pray 5 times a day. Why do we pray 5 times a day? What benefit does it have to you here in this world to pray 5 times a day? Now, it organizes your day. You wake up at Fajr. It has health benefits, etc., right? It gives you calmness, from a meditational perspective, etc. But the real benefit, we do this, is for the hereafter. It's a low time preference act. We do something today expecting the benefit of it later. For a non-believing person, for a non-religious person, the most low time preference thing he can do is look after his children. I always ask people, what's the most low time preference act a non-believer? It makes no sense. If you're not religious, why are you looking after a son or a daughter? It only costs money, doesn't pay you anything. And if you're not religious, it makes logically no sense. You're spending all this money to take care of them. Then maybe when they're 30 and you're 80, maybe they will look after you, right? But from our perspective as religious people, basically, it's very clear why you do that. Basically, sadaqah jariyah, basically, right? So it's a low time preference act. Bitcoin establishes a low time preference society. The world needs low time preference societies, which is why even the guys in California that have invented the Teslas, the Facebooks, the TikToks, all of these, the YouTubes, etc., don't allow their own children to use those tools, basically, because they know high time preference destroys humanity, basically. The fiat system is debt-based. The financial system currently is fiat, is debt-based, and it destroys humanity, basically, right? That's why it will be replaced out of the need from grassroots. It will be replaced by a sound monetary system.